Welcome back to the last part of this series. Master Jardi is a hugely popular, gifted intuitive and healer with extraordinary abilities and a huge following. A former computer program, he went through not one but two near-death experiences which subsequently awakened his intuitive abilities. Now, of his two near-death experiences, he now says they were the best experiences he's ever had. Now, if you've ever been to a tarot card reader and maybe you've drawn the death card, you've probably felt apprehensive about the future, and it may even have brought up one of life's biggest fears, death. Rather than physical death, the death of the old self is what allows for the new. Now, several factors do seem to be common with near-death experiences, such as a tunnel of light, which many believe to be the portal to the afterlife or other dimensions. There's also said to be feelings of calm, peace and love, and people have out-of-body experiences. Medically and scientifically, this has been explained as a product of oxygen and blood supply starvation to the retina. Now, the retina is the light-sensitive membrane at the back of the eye, and it receives its blood supply from a central point at the back of the eye, and this blood then spreads round to the edge of the retina. Now, that means that the edge of the retina has a poorer blood supply and oxygen supply than the rest of the retina. So when the oxygen supply is depleted, the edges of the retina fail, so that all you're left with is a single spot of light. And this is how science explains that this is the tunnel of light that people see. Now, science also explains that oxygen starvation primarily causes malfunction of the prefrontal lobes of the brain, and it's this that causes those feelings of calm and happiness. Now, as for the out-of-body experiences, well, there's a part of the brain called the angular gyrus, which, when activated by dis-ease or electrical current, such as during surgery, can actually cause out-of-body experiences. Now, for neurosurgeon Eben Alexander, these were the hardcore facts explaining near-death experiences. That was until his own brain was attacked by a rare illness. And in his case, the part of the brain that controls thought and emotion shut down, and Alexander lay in a coma for a week. Then he suddenly opened his eyes and subsequently became a medical miracle. His journey during those 7 days in a coma is even more remarkable, because prior to his illness, he had no belief in heaven, God, or even a soul, or the afterlife. He says that he was guided into the deepest realms of existence, to the divine source of the universe. And today, he's still a doctor, but he's a doctor who believes that death is not the end, it's simply a transition. And he shares his story in his hugely popular book, Proof of Heaven. Now, it seems that to manifest a wake-up call, dis-ease, and I mispronounced that purposefully, dis-ease, accidents, crises, or near-death experiences, they're often the catalyst for major identity shifts. Although I must say, one of my clients simply lost their passport. So do you need to create a near-death experience, trauma, drama, dis-ease to create an identity shift, to let go of beliefs? No. And be aware that, if you're calling out for wealth or abundance, the universe may deem that first you need to experience and understand a lack of wealth or poverty to truly understand wealth. Maybe to understand love, perhaps you need to understand its opposite. Often we become truly creative in the negative experiences, as what they do is they call forth a desire and an intention for something better. And in doing so, it allows for growth. In Indian philosophy, there are said to be 3 qualities that apply to everything in the universe, from matter to thoughts, emotions, and states of consciousness. And these 3 qualities or attributes are called gunas. And the first one is sattva, which is about starting things. It's about goodness, being constructive, harmonious, and it's linked to who you are being. Rajas represents change, passion, active, and it relates to what you are doing. Tamas represents stopping and bringing things to completion. It's about darkness, destructive, chaotic, and it's also linked to what you are having in life. Now, all these three gunas or qualities are present in everyone and everything. It's the proportion that's different. And according to the Hindu worldview, if you want to be doing something different or having something different in your life, like a different result in your life, it actually starts with changing who you are choosing to be. If you're being the person who's unlucky in life, then that will affect what you do and also what you have. If you're being the person who doesn't know what to do, then that will affect what you have. And if you're being the person who's unhappy, then that's going to be reflected in what you do and ultimately what you have and what you get. Indeed, Connor embraced his true self, while Mas and Eben all let go of an outdated model of the world. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that their lives are totally nirvana. However, they no longer need the drama because they've seen a bigger perspective. And in acknowledging a bigger perspective, all of them have transformed themselves and others in a way which allowed them to completely shatter their beliefs about reality, shatter their beliefs about the world and the universe, and literally step into a new way of being. So let's suppose that you're listening to this and you're in a room with no windows, tucked up in bed with a hot water bottle, maybe a heavy-duty duvet and a mug of hot tea. Outside, there's heavy snow with temperatures of minus 30 degrees. Now that's great if you love skiing or have a snowmobile. A couple of months later, the sun's shining, the trees are blossoming, and you're once again in a room with no windows. How do you feel about it when you have no connection to the external environment except what you've been told? Now, you probably feel lousy and depressed when you've been told it's freezing outside. While you feel a sense of excitement when you hear about the first blooms of spring. Your response is based purely on what you've been taught or told. Now consider the world that you've created for yourself. And that's based on what you've learnt, what you've been taught, what you've read or what you've seen. And now can you understand the part that the media plays in creating your world? The room that you've created for yourself is based on your memories and past experiences, perceptions and filters. It's now time to let go of the walls that your current model of the world has kept you in. It's time to expand your world. And after all, if spiritually enlightened souls can apparently pass through walls, why can't you? So are you ready to open the door? And if so, I invite you to fully consider these questions. So wherever you are, just make sure you're sitting comfortably, and you may want to close your eyes because I'm going to ask these questions and give you just a little time to fully consider these questions. So with your eyes closed, here's the first question. Who are you? And as you consider that question, you might want to remember the labels and titles that you gave yourself as we went through the first part of this video series. You might also want to consider that the titles and labels that you want to create for yourself may be who you're stepping into right now. So that first question is, who are you? Second question, who wouldn't you be if you weren't you? Who wouldn't you be if you weren't you? Third question I'd like you to fully consider. What wouldn't you be if you weren't you? What wouldn't you be if you weren't you? Number 4, what wouldn't it be like to not be you? And the next question, number 5, where wouldn't you be if you weren't where you are now? Where wouldn't you be if you weren't where you are now? And the final question, and you can open your eyes if you could choose to now, who are you now? You know, you're living in new times and new energy, which is calling for a new way of being. It's time to let your old self die, to allow an expansion of your universe and to step forward into a new way of being.